All right, so I'm making this video because I think there are a lot of opinions and criticism of Malazan that intimidates people and they don't read it because of that. And I think that is honestly a shame. And I had this book for 3 years without reading it, and now I just really regret not getting to it sooner because it might be, no, it is the best thing I have ever read in my entire life. And I'm only 170 pages in. I haven't even got halfway through. And that's, according to people on the internet, the worst part. And this is, according to people on the internet, the worst book in the series out of 10. So if this was the worst out of the worst, it's an 11 out of 10 for me. It is stellar. It is amazing. And my reaction, I accept that people have different opinions, but my spontaneous reaction is like, what the fuck did you read? Because you have those opinions like, what the hell did you read? Did you really even read the same thing? So I think some things are specific to me, and I'm going to let you know. So, if you're similar to me, you might love this because I'm already in love with this. As I said, this is the best thing I've ever read. I've fallen in love. I've never felt like this for a book series, ever. This is how I felt when I discovered the Lord of the Rings movies. This is how I felt when I discovered Berserk, the manga series behind me. This is how I felt when I discovered Final Fantasy, the video games, when I was a kid. It's just one of those events where I can just feel that this is going to be huge. So just going to give you a short backstory of how I started reading this. So I got this book 3 years ago, in 2021 in the summer. And it was almost exactly at the 3-year anniversary that I started reading it. I got it because I wanted the first book of this series just to see if I get into it. But I never read it because I was so intimidated by people on the internet saying that, oh, it's so hard, oh, it's so complicated, and there's so many POVs, and oh, you don't understand anything. Like, now when I look back at those comments, I should probably not even say what I think about it because it will be offensive. let me stay there. Just stay there. Okay, so I was on the waiting list for the Broken Binding books because they looked so amazing. I'm a visual person. They looked so amazing that I was like, hey, maybe I should get into Malazan again. I was on the waiting list. It was like 1 week until they were released to pre-order. I pre-ordered them now, spoiler warning. And I told myself, okay, I'm making a bargain with myself. I'm going to read 30 pages out of this and then stop. If I think that this is the best fucking thing I've ever read, or like 10 out of 10, I'm going to pre-order those books. And it's the first 3 books. So Gardens of the Moon, Deadhouse Gates, and Memories of Ice. And no, I'm not sponsored by the Broken Binding. So I read the 31st book pages of this because I was interested in those fancy editions. And I'm glad that that all happened because I can't stop. I'm almost 200 pages in, and this is just, I don't even have words. My feelings just like, if you don't like this, your opinion is not valid to me. Like, respectfully so. I don't care about your opinion if you don't like this, because this is like, it's ridiculous if you don't like this. So there are some specifics for me, so I'm going to tell you about that. So, if you're similar to me, you might fall in love with this as heavily as I have. And but I'm not going to go into like a synopsis of the story, etc., because you can get that from anyone else. And there's a really good, let me check the name of it. There's a really good introduction to Malazan made by, let me check his name, the channel, The Book Guy, and it's called Malazan Book of the Fallen, A Beginner's Guide. Just check that out. Be wary of spoilers when you're on the internet because it can really mess things up. So just avoid that. But, just some general information is good. So what am I like? So you can know that if you're similar to me, you might like this. I grew up with Final Fantasy, JRPGs like Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, Mass Effect, Dark Souls, played all the Souls games, completed almost all of them. Lord of the Rings, huge Tolkien fan, but mostly the movies. Read the Silmarillion, read the Elric books, Berserk, Name of the Wind, Not going to tell you what I think about the second entry of that series, but the first book was really good. What more? Yeah, I've just read some fantasy here and there. Was this difficult to understand or get into? What? Why? I don't understand. Like, this is so good. It has some standard fantasy stuff, but it turns it into original, something really original in the best way. And I just don't get what would be difficult to follow. Now, there's also one more thing you need to know. I love to study books. I read the Dune books, the first four Dune books, up to God Emperor, this summer before I started this, and I love studying like glossaries. I love checking out words that I don't know. I check every single word when I read that I don't know. So if a word is new or unfamiliar to me, I check it on my phone. I take a screenshot of the definition and then I write it down on the paper. So after I read the first four Dune books, I had a list of 450 or so words that were new to me. I don't remember all of them, but I just love studying like that. So if you're similar to me there, this is going to be cool because you're going to learn some new words. I'm not like a native English speaker, but I still think you're going to learn some new words. But also, you're going to have to study this in order to get the most out of it because there's like a character index and a glossary. One in the front, one in the back. And if you thumb back and forward to those when you need to, it will increase your reading experience because he doesn't like explain everything all the time in the books because the story has to happen. And that's just natural and it feels good and you pick up some things along the way. So I like those things. If you're similar to me, you'll love it. If you have the same kind of background, you'll love this. If you don't mind switching perspectives. And this is even something that I think Steven Erikson himself kind of apologized for, or he had some kind of like comment about like, maybe I should have done this differently. But no, this is perfect. Nothing should be done differently about like character perspective changes. Like it's super obvious when the perspective changes. It is extremely super obvious. Like I do not understand. I do not agree. Not even with the author himself. maybe I'll find some improvements when we go along. But this is already 11 out of 10 for me. So, like, if you improve an 11 out of 10, thank you, sir. But if you don't, like, it's 11 out of 10. This is my jam. This is perfect for someone like me. Okay, I don't even know what to say. What more? Oh yeah, I also played like Oblivion and Skyrim just for some more references. Um, but yeah, I don't even know what more to say. I just want to dispel the fucking myths out there where people are intimidating people from reading this. Like, seriously? Maybe it gets more complicated later, but this is just perfect. If you love fantasy, if you like dark stuff but also light stuff, if you like mythology, if you like different kinds of characters, and that's also something he's been criticized for. I love the characters and the characterizations. Like the characters are interesting, different, cool, fun to follow. I felt connected to most of the characters this far. I think it's just brilliant. So I don't need more than that. It just fills my cup perfectly. You know when you pour coffee into your cup and you want that perfect amount that you're used to. This just does it for me in every department. The length of every chapter in itself is like a story, and I haven't even like completed the first book of the series. And this is how I feel. And this was the worst part according to people on the internet. This was like the part that you have to read it in order to like even have given it a chance. I'm just so excited and grateful that this exists. So if anyone is similar to me, you're hesitating on whether you should start reading this series or not, I think I've said enough. So do I have anything more to say? Yeah, good enough for me to just start a fucking YouTube channel on BookTube just to get this out there. Good enough for that. And maybe I'll do some more content on Malazan if you want me to do that. If you request something specific, like, I don't know, keep you updated with videos as I read through this. Let me know. I'll think about it. But I just want to dispel that myth. Malazan is not complicated and confusing and difficult. Like, it is not, especially if you have my background. Just start reading it. It is so much fun. If you are a person who wants to be stimulated intellectually while you read something, and if you want to commit to a series, I forgot to say that. I am a person who commits. I have a lot of interests. I lift weights. I play music. I hang out with people. I have a full-time job. I don't treat books like a fucking banana that I just eat and then throw away. When I read something, I commit only to this, and I go all in, and I love it as much as I can. I give it all my time and attention that I can. If you're not like me, you probably won't like this. If you just see books as something that you like, just like, I just want to read this book. Like, for some reason, you just want to read words and pages. Be my guest. Don't get into this. This is a commitment, but this is also just a heck of a thing to get into. And I've just completed the worst part, according to people. This is so insane. I'm so stoked for this. I can't wait to continue. And that's it. Feel my excitement and be affected by it. I hope it's contagious. Have a nice day.